Welcome to TV 16's Live at 5. I'm Matt Dobson.
And I'm Amy Murray. Arkansans across the state are hitting the polls for Election Day.
And a drug search at Searcy High School leads to 4 students facing charges.
We'll have all that for you and more, but first, your TV 16 news starts right now. Americans are hitting the polls today, choosing not only our next president, but a number of local and state positions as well. Here in White County, there's 1 U.S. congressional seat contested, a number of state legislature seats, 3 spots on the White County Quorum Court, and quite a few city council positions. Local voters are also considering a number of initiatives, including the Searcy A&P sales tax and the statewide Medical Marijuana Act.
But the big race, of course, is the race for the White House. And the polls show both President Barack Obama and former Governor Mitt Romney neck and neck. That meant a full day of campaigning for both candidates. CNN's Elizabeth Corridan reports.
Many Americans faced long lines at the polls today in what could be one of the closest presidential elections in history. It was far from a day off for the candidates.
Hi, this is Barack Obama. How are you?
President Obama dropped by a campaign field office in Chicago, thanking the workers there. He also thanked his opponent, Mitt Romney, for what he called a spirited campaign.
I know that his supporters are just as engaged and just as enthusiastic and working just as hard today. We feel confident. We've got the votes to win, but it's going to depend ultimately on whether those votes turn out.
After voting this morning in Delaware, Joe Biden flew to the important battleground state of Ohio, greeting voters at a restaurant in Cleveland. In a clear illustration of just how crucial Ohio is this year, Joe Biden's Air Force Two shared a tarmac in Cleveland with both Paul Ryan's and Mitt Romney's planes. After voting in their home states, Romney and his running mate took one more swing through Ohio, part of a last-minute strategy that combined on-the-ground stops with remote radio interviews, all focused on getting out the vote.
I think people in Ohio know that they're probably going to decide who the next president's going to be. There's a good shot of that happening. So we all care very deeply about Ohio.
Every vote matters, and both campaigns are working to keep up momentum until the polls close. I'm Elizabeth Corridan reporting.
Tonight, we'll be bringing you the latest local election results right here on a special edition of TV 16 News. We'll have reporters at the White County Courthouse keeping an eye on things throughout the evening, and we'll be monitoring all sources for the latest numbers. Our coverage begins at 7 o'clock tonight. We hope you'll join us.
In Benton County, the election commissioners confirmed more than 50 precincts are without paper ballots, and voters will have to vote electronically. Russell Anzalone, Secretary of the Benton County Election Commission, says they did not expect such a large turnout and did not have enough ballots printed. Anzalone also says commissioners are driving to Fort Smith to pick up more ballots.
Little Rock police are searching for a man who was last seen getting into a car with 3 other men at a gas station. Police say 21-year-old Charles Hall was seen on Sunday at a West Little Rock gas station getting into a small gold 4-door car. The surveillance camera saw the car heading south. If you have any information on Hall's whereabouts, you're asked to call police.
A drug search at Searcy High School has led to 4 students facing prosecution. Searcy police say 4 students have been cited with possession of a controlled substance having less than 1 gram of marijuana and synthetic marijuana, along with other drug paraphernalia. All 4 students will face a judge later this year, and if prosecuted, could be facing misdemeanor charges.
The Arkansas Crime Lab says the death of a Searcy couple was accidental. Toxicology results revealed that Aaron Sweet and Samantha Epsey were both killed by an overdose of methadone, and that no foul play was involved. Brittany Ekrat, Public Information Officer for the Searcy Police Department, says the case remains under investigation while detectives attempt to find out whether the couple had a prescription for the methadone.
Governor Mike Beebe has pardoned 7 people, including a Searcy man, for various crimes. The 7 are Jason Bishop of Springdale, Ann Jackson of Conway, Terry Rudder of Hector, Kimberly Morrow Shirtleft of Ashdown, Denisha Stone of Mariana, and Mickle Warren of Searcy. Beebe also denied clemency requests for 53 others.
A man in Yellville is dead after shooting himself while he was being pursued by police. Marion County Sheriff Roger Vickers says Tyler Dixon ran into a wooded area near where deputies tried to arrest him on drug charges. Vickers also says Dixon shot himself when police dogs and officers approached him. Dixon was taken to a Springfield, Missouri hospital where he later died.
Authorities have identified a body who was found in a wooded area near the intersection of Huckleberry Street and Torrance Street in Hot Springs. Police say Joshua Williams was found dead with a gunshot wound to his upper torso. Detectives do not have a suspect or motive in this case, and they are currently following up on leads and conducting interviews.
Police are investigating a shooting on Valentine Street that happened this morning. Police say the victim, Damian Brown, was found shot multiple times behind the wheel of his car. Brown was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say Brown has been unable to give detectives any information about why he was shot, who shot him, or if he was in the car at the time of the shooting.
A Star City football player is still in critical condition after suffering a seizure during practice. Last week, 18-year-old Zach Rossico was in huddle at practice last Thursday when he fell and started to have a seizure. His family said that Zach had been cleared to play after suffering a concussion a few weeks ago. Family members are staying while Zach is still in critical condition. They are starting to see movement in his arms and legs.
The Pine Bluff City Council met last night to discuss the possibility of requiring security cameras in local convenience stores, gas stations, and restaurants. Alderman George Steps is sponsoring the ordinance and hopes the mandate will impact violent crime numbers in the city. Steps also says if the ordinance is put into effect, it will help police solve crimes.
Coming up after the break, find out when states will post the results of the presidential election.
And riots start in Greece because of their voting.
We'll have all that for you and more, but first let's take a quick look at your weather with Joshua Cole Little. Josh?
Thanks, Matt and Amy. We've had a much cooler day than we're used to here in the Searcy area compared to our average temperatures, which are a good 7 degrees higher than what the averages are. And after that rain today, brings our monthly total to just 0.2 inches, which brings that yearly average of rain up. I'll have your full forecast for you right on the other side of the break.
For you. Hey, Mom.
You know, girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay! Go team!
That was amazing. Mom, that was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Severe weather can destroy a home in seconds. There's no time to think, only time to act. Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes. And stay informed during severe weather any way you can. It can be the difference between losing your possessions and losing your life. Just ask the owners of this house.
We are this close.
We are this close.
To making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
We are this close.
This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again.
We are this close to ending polio.
This close to ending polio. All we need is you.
This close.
Be a part of history.
Welcome back. I'm Joshua Cole Little with a look at your TV 16 weather. We're looking at a pretty cool night tonight as well as tomorrow. Some cooler temperatures. However, we're looking at a warm front coming through the area, which will bring those temperatures up over the next couple days that we'll probably be seeing later on this weekend. Looking at your current conditions here in the Searcy area right now, it's about 57, 56 degrees outside right now. We got a little bit of a breeze going out there right now. So it's keeping it a little bit cool, and those temperatures will be going down, especially as that sun gets a lot lower tonight. Looking at your current temperatures in the Searcy-White County area, Right now, over the most of the map, we're about average of 56 degrees. You got a couple places, Pangburn 55. As you go further south, Beebe 57. Over here in Georgetown 58, the warmest here in the White County area. Looking at your Arkansas temperature map. Right now, you see this gradient going of temperatures, a little bit cooler as you head further north. Mountain Home 55, Fayetteville 59 right now, and as you head further south, you see right here is where that gradient starts to taper off, and you see the difference in the 60s and the 50s in Arkansas right now being split. Little Rock 62 degrees, 60 in Pine Bluff right now. Looking at the surface map, you can see right here is where this high pressure system is being pushed out of the area, and that's where we saw a lot of that rain that we got, rain and clouds that we saw yesterday. And there's going to be this cold front coming through the area, or through the Arkansas area tonight and tomorrow. So tonight and tomorrow we'll be feeling some cooler temperatures outside. However, as we head on later into the weekend, there'll be a warm front that'll be being pushed through that we're going to be feeling in the area, and that'll bring our temperatures up just a little bit. It won't be terribly warmer than we've been seeing, but it'll feel just a little bit warmer. Tonight we're looking at a low of 39 degrees outside with that breeze going. Mostly clear skies outside. Like I said, chilly temps, so if you're getting outside at all tonight, make sure you have a jacket handy with you, something to keep warm with, especially if you're going out and vote or taking part in voting tonight during elections. Looking at your evening planner for tonight's, like I said, mostly clear skies. We're not looking at any heavy clouds outside tonight, but as those temperatures go down, as we head into midnight, we are looking at about 44 degrees outside. So won't hit our low temperature until much later into tonight. Tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be much like today, mostly clear skies, cooler at night with a low of 34, however, high of 63 degrees. So about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we saw today, with a breeze going out there. So it'll be pretty nice if you want to get outside and go do something. Looking at your 5-day forecast as we head on into the remainder of the week. And this weekend, sunny skies outside, may see a few clouds pop up here and there. And then you can see on Friday how those temperatures jump up to 69 and into the low 70s for the remainder of the weekend, where we'll be seeing some more clouds popping up. But then that should be pushing out pretty soon there after that. That's a look at your TV16 weather. Now let's head back to the desk with Amy and Matt. Guys?
Thanks, Josh. We're now just hours away from the first polls closing, but if you're waiting to see the winner, you may want to kick your feet up and settle in. Jonathan Mann explains.
If you're planning your day around the result or an election party, it's going to be a long day or a heck of a party. It will be a while before we know who wins, but you can get some early clues if you watch the clock. The first results will come in as voting in 6 states ends at midnight GMT. That's 4 a.m. if you're in Abu Dhabi, 8 a.m. if you're just getting your day started in Hong Kong. Romney is expected to win easily in 4 of these first 6 states, the red ones, so look for him to take an early lead, but do keep your eye on the toss-up state of Virginia. Obama won it in 2008. Romney obviously wants to win it back, and it is close. A victory for either candidate here could be an important signal of how the rest of the night will go. A half hour later, Romney could pick up a couple more wins, and it's probably really the time that you want to be sitting down near a TV set, or staying up late, or starting early, because that's also when the polls close in the battleground state of Ohio. We have been talking a lot about it. It is central to Obama's winning strategy and would be a big blow to Romney if he loses it. Ohio, watch that result, as vote counting there begins at 12:30 a.m. in London, 6 a.m. if you're watching from New Delhi. At 0100 GMT, polls close in 16 states and Washington, D.C. Romney is expected to do well in the South. Look at all that red. Obama's likely to win in the Northeast and in his home state of Illinois as well. But watch the toss-up state, Florida. Florida, well, Obama can afford to lose it. Romney cannot. Without Florida, or Ohio for that matter, Romney could be through before the bars even close at 2 a.m. in Paris or Berlin. Oh, and by 0200 GMT, voting will be over in more than 2/3 of the country, but neither candidate is likely to have a clear majority just yet, so 0300 could be the critical hour. Romney can count on turning most of the Midwest red, but if he's going to win the election, he needs to do it now because Obama has a secret weapon, a massive haul of 78 electoral votes that are just waiting for him when polls close the next hour in the western states that are all expected to go his way. If he's already close to 270, 0400 GMT could be when he goes over the top. Voting doesn't end, though, until 0600 GMT in distant Alaska. Romney is expected to win there, but by then, for one candidate, the clock may have already run out, and the party will be over. Back to you.
The nation of Greece has come to a screeching halt again. A 48-hour strike is underway in Greece as the country's parliament prepares to vote on a package of new spending cuts. Schools, banks, and government offices will be closed, and transport is expected to be at a standstill. The Prime Minister is calling for pensions and holiday bonuses to be cut as he tries to reduce Greece's debt and meets conditions attached to their next bailout.
A man working at a California chicken processing plant opened fire at the business earlier today, killing one person and wounding 3 others, before shooting himself. Police say they do not know what prompted the attack by Lawrence Jones. Workers told police he did not appear to be himself when he arrived at the plant for work. Jones arrived at work just before 5 in the morning, and about 3.5 hours into his shift, he pulled out a handgun and began firing. Jones is currently in critical condition due to his self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The pilot of a FedEx plane was crashed when his plane hit the ground this morning. The crash was 2 miles from an airport in Wichita, Kansas. A spokesman for the Federal Aviation Administration said the pilot reported engine trouble shortly after takeoff. The pilot was apparently trying to return to the airport when the plane crashed into a row of trees and caught fire. The pilot was the only person on board, and the plane was operated by Barron Aviation for FedEx. A FedEx representative said the company extended thoughts and prayers to those affected by the fatal crash.
A deadly fire at a hospital in Durham, North Carolina claims the life of 1 patient and injures 3 others.
Durham firefighters train daily for any type of incident that may come up. So although it was unusual that it was in a hospital and that it was on the 6th floor of a hospital, our firefighters train for this type of situation every day.
Durham Regional Hospital early this morning. 3 staffers were also treated for smoke inhalation. Durham Fire Chief Dan Curia says his team is more than equipped to handle this kind of situation. The fire happened in a unit specializing in long-term acute care. No patients were evacuated from the building, but some had to be moved to other parts of the hospital.
An explosion at a gas company in suburban Houston injures several people. The propane blast happened around noon at the AmeriGas Cylinder Exchange in Conroe. The Montgomery County Fire Marshal's office says 2 victims were flown to burn centers in the area. There's no word yet on the cause for the explosion.
Over 25 million people in the U.S. suffer from chronic sinus infections. Although the traditional treatment is to prescribe antibiotics to fight the condition, health officials are saying we could be creating a super sinus bug resistant to these drugs. Why? Here's today's Health Minute.
Dr. Subhano Das is working to develop a nasal swab test that would identify the type of sinus infection a patient has because it's information doctors really need. In most cases, patients suffer from periodic sinus congestion and pain. But when sinusitis is caused by a bacteria, the side effects can be devastating.
The bacteria can rapidly spread back to your brain or to your eyes and cause serious complications.
Traditional treatment has always been antibiotics. Now doctors are being urged to cut down on antibiotic prescriptions. That's because, according to Infectious Disease Society of America, about 90% of all sinus infections are viral, which cannot be treated by antibiotics. In fact, the medication actually rids the sinuses of healthy bacteria and strengthens the dangerous bacteria, creating a super sinusitis bug that can be treated by any medication.
The big problem in society is that doctors don't know which patients are going to have viral infections that are going to resolve uneventfully, or which ones have bacterial infections.
By knowing whether the cause is viral or bacteria, Dr. Doss says doctors will be able to prescribe the right medication in serious cases without creating a sinusitis resistance to antibiotics. For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
All right, Brian. So with the whole nation watching the election tonight, what do we have coming up in sports also?
Well, we're going to stay with that theme. We got a little bit of Obama. We got a little bit of Romney. They're both going to kind of talk about. We'll see some parallels in sports and the elections tonight. So it'll be kind of cool, a little interesting little twist. So, but as always, it's coming up right after the break.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. We can tackle the tough challenges we face and build community through service and volunteering. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
How will you raise your hand when they call your name?
Are you with me?
We weren't born to follow.
Savings Man here with a story for you about two young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, 'cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here.
Check the dining room.
No.
What about your sister's room?
It's not there either.
The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at Let's Move.
In the event of a car crash, 3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
All right, with Harding's 31-9 road victory over Southeastern Oklahoma on Saturday, the Bisons moved up 2 more spots to number 14 in the Division II coaches poll, which was released yesterday. That's their highest ranking ever. They joined Henderson State as the only 2 teams in the Great American Conference in the top 25 rankings. The Bisons will host Southwestern Oklahoma State on Saturday for the final game of the regular season at home. And it's a good game for Monday Night Football last night, so let's go ahead and get right to the highlights. We got Drew Brees and the Saints hosting the Eagles in the Superdome, both teams badly in need of a win. In the first quarter, we got Eagles' Mike Vick has his pass deflected by Brent Selleck, and it's intercepted by Saints' Patrick Robinson, who will take this back 99 yards for the touchdown. That's right, a defensive touchdown for the Saints. What? I know. Well, we'll go to the second quarter now. Saints' Chris Ivory takes a handoff to the right. He's going to break a tackle and go on his way to a 22-yard touchdown run. It's a bad thing when you see the Saints running the ball well, because that means it's going to open up passing plays like this one to Jimmy Graham. He'll punch it in early, for the 6-yard touchdown. The final score will be 28-13 Saints. Brees had 2 touchdowns on the day. Mike Vick was sacked 7 times. His brother tweeted, "Get the man some help." Well, a heckler didn't just have to be removed from an Obama campaign event in Cincinnati. The man had to be pried off of a railing when he clung to his spot. The crowd booed the man, then cheered him. Security pulled him away. President Barack Obama joked at his expense.
So, these might have been some Tennessee Titans fans who were mad about the Bears beating them really badly today.
The president, of course, is a big fan of the Chicago Bears, who beat the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, 51-20. Big win for the Bears. All right, we're going to stay with the presidential election and sports connections. This is a weird stat for those who are somewhat superstitious. A clue as to who will win the presidential election could come from the Redskins rule. According to the rule, and this is crazy, check this one out. If Washington loses the last home game before the presidential election, then the incumbent will also lose the election. Well, they played Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. They lost 21-13. That means if the trend is accurate, Mitt Romney will win the general election. Correctly been predicted in every election dating back to 1940, except for one that was in 2004 when Washington lost its home game. But President George W. Bush still won his re-election. So how is that for some crazy sports parallels to the elections and everything?
We'll see how it happens.
Yeah, like I said, the Redskins lost, so that means, you know, if statistically, but, good news for Romney fans maybe. Who knows?
Well, coming up after the break, a robot tests his skills at table tennis. We'll have that for you and more. Keep it here.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome to Fogel's.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You expect options everywhere else. Why not with your medical treatment? Talk with your doctor to explore all your options and find what's right for you. Visit ahrq.gov.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
These days, robots are getting more and more sophisticated. This one can hold its own at ping pong. Its table tennis skills are on display at the China International Industry Fair, held in Shanghai. The fair opened today and runs through Saturday. Also on display, a robot that makes computer mice. It's all being hailed as 4 times more efficient than a pair of human hands.
The Eagles try a unique play, and Boston's hometown Rockers draw big crowds. The video that will have you talking is next, and take a look at this.
Take a look at this. An Eagle plays possum on the field. The Philadelphia Eagles tried a trick play on a kickoff return from the New Orleans Saints during Monday Night Football. Riley Cooper laid down in the end zone, then popped up to receive a throw from Brandon Boykin. He ran 93 yards for a touchdown. But it didn't count because it was ruled a forward pass. The Eagles ended up losing the game. An amazing escape for 7 people when their 25-foot boat capsized in Northern California. 2 children were trapped inside the boat's cabin, which was filling up with water. Firefighters had to cut a hole in the hull of the boat to rescue the kids. 5 others were rescued after clinging onto the hull. None of the boaters were wearing a life jacket. 1 had minor injuries. No word on what caused the boat to overturn. And thousands filled Boston's Commonwealth Avenue for a free concert by the band Aerosmith. The band played outside the apartment building where band members first started writing songs. The concert was meant to encourage voting as well as promote the band's first studio album in 8 years. For Take a Look at This, I'm Shelby Lynn.
I'm Joshua Colittle with one last look at your TV 16 weather. Taking a look now at your Arkansas radar map. You can see we got clear skies out there, especially over here in the Searcy area. It's looking very nice out there for this evening. Taking a look now at your evening planner. As we head on into tonight, we see those temperatures going down. About midnight, we're looking at the 40s, so it's not a huge drop into the 40s tonight. However, if you're going to be outside, make sure you have a jacket handy. It's going to be pretty cool. There's probably a slight breeze out there with you. Taking a look now at the remainder of the weekend as we head on into tomorrow and the rest of the week. We're looking at sunny skies, pretty good temperatures out there. As we hit the weekend Friday and Saturday, we're looking at a spike in temperatures jumping up to 72 and 70 with some cloudy skies coming around. But that should be clearing out and it'll be very nice out there. That's a look at your TV 16 weather.
Well, that looks like really good weather for those last-minute voters coming up.
If you're going to be voting, go out there and do it, and you shouldn't need an umbrella or anything.
Well, don't forget, we also have a special edition of TV 16 News starting at 7 o'clock with election updates from White County.
Thanks for joining us on TV 16. Have a great night.